Okay, so in this tutorial, we're going to be talking about how to create text in our document and how to create dimensions. Now, text are actually a type of objects that you will need to access through this box here, which is called the annotation box, which is in that area. Before setting or before trying to create any of those, we actually need to create a style, meaning that for each type of text or each type of dimensions, we need to set the text height. We also need to set if the text is annotative, meaning is that the text is going to be consistent in any size when we print the document, consistent in height and in size, and of course in font. So let's see how to do that. First of all, before attempting to create the text, we need to create a text style where we actually tell AutoCAD about all the features that we need that style to be to carry. All right, so here you have, this is the text block or the text style that we're going to be creating, where we tell AutoCAD what exactly or how do we want our text to look like. So I'm just going to go here to standard, and you can see that you have standard, you have annotative, and you have another one. I don't know where that is, but apparently it's created within the document. So the very first thing that we're going to be starting with is a standard type. Okay. So once I click on standard and I select it, after that, I'm going to click on manage text style. So the very first thing is you need to select the type of text that you're going, which is a standard or the default, and then you're going to click on manage text style. When this happens, the idea is we need to set a new style. So whenever there is a new style that you're going to be setting, you will need to start with a default, and then you're going to create your own. The default is the origin from where you're going to be starting. After that, I'm going to click on new, and then I'm going to assign the name that is going to be associated with the style. From your assignment, it's or from your learning activity, it's room labels, and it's cap. So all of it is caps, room labels. All right, and I'm going to click OK. And right now, this is the one that we created. So this is the one that we started from. We started from standard, and then after that, we actually went into creating our own from the standard. Now let's set the attributes, or let's set the qualities of that type of text. So is it annotative? Yes, annotative means that the text is always going to be consistent in size and in characteristics within any page size. Okay, so consistent in height, consistent in width, consistent of font style and the font name. So basically, it will not change any of its qualities if we set annotative on. Okay. The typeface that we're going to be selecting is Romans. So we're going to click here, and I'm going to scroll down till I find Romans. I can think of R, hitting R, and it's probably here. Yes, one of those. Yep, this is the one, I guess. And then we need to set the text height here at 3/16 of an inch. All right, so we already set everything, as you can see, and then I'm going to show you something later on that we have to do here, just to make sure that the annotative means that the paper text height is going to remain consistent, as we said. But right now, we have set, I think, everything as we wanted. Now, before I click apply, I'm going to click on set current. So this is the one that, so AutoCAD will understand that this is the one that I will need to be working with. So I'm just going to click on set current. Okay, yes. And then this means that I applied that. I'm going to click on close. So this time when I click on annotation and then I click here, add the text style, this is the new text style that I just created, and because it's highlighted here, this means that this is the one that I'm going to be working with. Now, before we start adding our text, one more thing that we need. You can see that here there's something called annotation objects. Now, we're not going to get into annotation during this term, because this is you're going to have an advanced course of AutoCAD, and then you're going to be expanding on your annotation knowledge. But what we need to do prior to going and selecting the text is that we're going to set here the annotation size to 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. So I'm just going to scroll down here and select 1/2 inch equal 1 foot, and you can see that it's displayed here. So you just want to make sure that annotation objects are turned on, okay? And then this is the annotation scale of the current view. So want to make sure that this here you selected 1/2 inch equals 1 foot. Again, we're not going to expand more on that knowledge because you're going to have more on it next term if you take in the advanced course of AutoCAD. But then we definitely need to set annotation text because this is basically the size or the size of the let's say the page that is going to contain the text. So once we do that, and this is displayed here, now we are already starting to add the line text. Now the line text, we have multi-line text, which is we are going to use in a bit, but then we're going to be using the single line for now. Now our exercise here, once I click on text here and then I select single text, the very first thing that's going to ask you is that you want to start specify start point or text. So I'm just going to specify anything. Now the exercise is about us adding text to any of the rooms here. All right, so we want to identify each one of the room. And to do that, this is basically the living area. So I'm just going to type living area here and kitchen here. Maybe this is the laundry room. So we're going to see how we are going to distribute that. But the very first thing is that I want to write here living room. So I'm just going to zoom in here, and then I'm going to add, I'm going to click. And once I click, I have specify rotation angle of text in the command line. So I'm just going to click enter on my keyboard to accept that value. And immediately I have a cursor that's starting to blink in front of me. So we're going to type living room. Okay. And then I'm going to click somewhere else, maybe here in the kitchen. And immediately after I do that, you can see that the living room text is added here. And then I'm going to type kitchen here. And I think in your exercise, you probably, I mean, we're probably going to improvise a little bit here because I don't see any indication of which room is dedicated to which. Maybe I have here, there is a dining room, there's a guest room, and den or family room. So let's say, for example, that we have a washroom here. So I'm just going to type here, wash room. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I wrote that right. And I'm going to type here, maybe this is a den area. Okay. And then I'm going to type here, maybe this is a guest room or something. And here into, maybe this is another family room. Okay, so that's it. And probably gonna write here dining area or dining room. Okay, and once I'm done adding all of those, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click escape on my keyboard. So just click somewhere else and then escape, just to make sure that the command is done with. Now I might actually change, so I'm going to move the guest room here and move the family room here. And to do that, I'm going to click on move, click on here, and then move this into position, and then click on move again and click here and move this into position right here. Okay, so the very first thing is we are done. Maybe also move that as well. So move here like that. And I think that's the very first part of your exercise. So definitely managed to create the text style, set the annotative style here, all right, to adjust to that current view. So basically the text is going to remain consistent with when we have half of an inch equals 1 foot for that view. And we made sure that we use single line to start applying that. Of course, the room labels is the style that we created. Okay, so now we have some text that we will need to apply. We have some notes for the contractor that we need to write next to our floor plan here. And to do that, we need a new text style, because the new text style is going to be different. And then we're going to be using the multi-line instead of using the single line. So for that text or those type of notes, we're going to be creating a new text style dedicated to the notes that we're leaving for the contractor. So here, we're just going to click, and then I'm going to also start with the standard text as we did last time. I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to, after selecting standard, I'm going to click on manage text styles. Once I have standard here, I'm going to rename that. So I need to click on new. So I started with the standard. I'm creating a new text style from the default, and I'm gonna basically put this as, I don't know if we need to name it something, but I will say that this is maybe notes. So I'm just gonna name that notes. I'm gonna click on OK. All right, so I named it something different than room labels, and then I'm gonna click on set current here. All right, before clicking on set current, or we can do it now, make sure that we identify the style font. I think we're also going to be using Roman, so R, which is here, SHX, and the text height is 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and we need the, this is going to be, I think, annotative. So we're setting this also to be annotative. I don't see here if we have upside down. We don't have the amount of information that we can put top left or something, but the line spacing or the line spacing. So we're just going to leave it as this. And I'm going to click on set current again. All right, and I'm going to click on close. So everything here, as we can see, annotative Romans, 1/8 of an inch. Yeah, the width factor is 1, which is fine. And then I'm going to click on close. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to do, because we already set the text style or the new text style to notes, I want to click on text here, and I'm going to select multi-line text this time. Multi-line text is going to give you a message saying specify first corner. So basically, we're putting this inside of a box. You might choose to put the notes here. You might choose them to put them here. It's totally up to you. But I will probably add them into this side or this corner here, up here. And this is because we're going to be using some we will be in need of some space around when we are adding dimensions. And that's why I will probably try, because you have a lot of notes. You have about 5 notes here. And then we will need to position them here, somewhere here. So the very first thing that I will do is that I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to drag. So I'm clicking, and then you're going to drag. Now, once you do that, you will see that here we have the text editor coming up. In your exercise, one of the things that you see that there is a justification. So how exactly the position of the text is going to be, and this is controlled from here. So you have top left, which is already the default, okay? And we have set everything. We're going to set the line spacing to 1.1x, and this is where the line spacing lives here next to justification. Okay, and this is what we want. We might need bullets and numbering. Maybe numbered is the one, so I'm just going to click on numbered, and numbered here, okay, because we already have numbers starting with our notes. So I'm going to start writing. So the very first, I think it's number 7 requirement in your exercise is that we're going to type first in caps, floor area to outside face of stud wall, okay, and I'm going to type, I think there is, yeah, 2 commas and then 1,518 square feet. Okay, and I'm going to put dot here, and then 2 dimensioning or dimensions are face of stud unless otherwise noted, and that's probably, yeah. Now I'm not going to write all of them. I'm just going to write the other one, and then I'm going to close, and then you can continue. You have 5 things to 5 paragraphs to write, or 5 sentences. So I'm just going to show you how we're going to close this once we are finished, and I'm going to type interior conditions. Framed. Computer is probably a little bit slow. Is 2 by 4. So multiply. I can find multiply. Okay, on my screen. Okay. Wood studs unless otherwise noted. Okay, and then you're going to continue the other. You have 4 and you have 5. Now I'm going to click on here, close text editor, and once you click on that green arrow, you have your text or the notes here, the notes section finished. Okay, so that's basically, I think, number 7 in your assignment or the exercise requirement. We might need to add them into a different layer. So we're going to see which layer that we're going to be adding this to right now. So I created a layer dedicated to the GANO notes, and it's called GANO note. And just expand it a little bit here. And here we're going to see that we have the color is set to yellow, the line type is continuous, and the line weight is 0.18. And this is the layer dedicated to the notes that we have just created. So if I set that as current like this, and then close here, and then I'm going to select, once I hover over the text, I'm going to click here, And then from the drop-down menu, I'm going to select G-Anno node. So this is placed on it, and then I'm going to click escape. So that's the part that you will have for the notes. We explored the text, the multi-line text, and then we explored the single line and how to create different styles and how to access them. The next thing we're going to be talking about is adding dimensions. Now, just like what we did with the text style, we're going to be using a dimension style to start applying dimensions to our floor plan. And for this, I'm going to click here on the annotation drop-down menu, and then I have dimensions here. So I'm going to click on here on that dimension drop-down menu, and I'm going to click on standard. And after that, I'm going to click on standard again, and then I'm going to click on manage dimension styles. Okay, so from here, we're going to create our own style that's supposed to be actually what we, so again, manage dimension styles. And this is the standard. So the one that we're going to be creating, we're going to be calling dimensions. So I'm going to click on new, just what we did, starting with the default, and then creating a copy of the default and manipulating the copy to our needs. And instead of the new style name as copy of standard, we're going to be putting dimensions in caps. Okay. After that, I'm going to click on continue. If it's in already views of have something, let's just type dimension 001 and click on continue. So this is, just to identify this. And we're going to make that style annotative. We're going to see how to do that in a second, but we need to substitute some things here. From the symbols and arrows here, I need to make sure that arrowhead are architectural ticks, and I can do that from here. Symbols and arrows, arrowhead, instead of first and second, I need to change this to architectural tick, and I need to change the second, which is automatically selected. Now, for the text placement, okay, I think we need to click on, if it's not here, arrow size, none, dimension. Okay, so text placement is not here. Let me click on text. There's text appearance and text placement. Now, text placement lives under text here in this tab, right? And I need this to be vertical, and I need this to be above. So it's vertical and above from here. All right, now the text alignment should be aligned with dimension line. So here, instead of horizontal, I'm picking aligned with dimension line. And the primary units that we need to set, which are here, I'm going to click on this tab, and I need to select architectural with precision of 1/8 of an inch. So from the unit format, I need to still set this to architectural, and I need the precision to be 1/8 of an inch. Okay, and we're definitely going to set this to become our current style, symbols and arrows. So we're good with that. Text, we already did that. Okay, and lines, we're good by that. So everything else is okay. I'm gonna click on OK here, and I'm just going to set this as current. Okay, and yeah, and I can actually click on modify just one more time to see if this is all working well for us. Okay. Yeah, the scale. Now here I want to set the scale. So the scale for the dimension features. That's why I'm selecting annotative. So I'm just going to click on fit and click on annotative and click on OK. And immediately after I have that, again, I'm going to show you how to do this, because to set this as annotative, meaning it's consistent, you need to go to Fit, Tab, and then select Annotative. So the scale of all of the elements of the dimensions is going to be consistent whenever we have different sizes of printing. Fit, Annotative, okay. And I will know it's annotative because I do have this triangle, the blue triangle next to it. I'm going to click on Set Current. So clicking on Set Current means that this is the one that I'm going to be using, and I click on Close. Now, for this annotative dimension, we still have 1/2 inch equals 1 foot set for us. Okay, and then we're going to create another layer, and I will show you which layer. We're going to create the layer later. But first, we're going to start to apply the dimensions. Okay, so I'm going to do one of the sides, and then you can take a look at your exercise and start creating all 4 sides. Usually we have 3 tears. I mean, the type of dimensions that we have is that I'm just going to click here and go to dimensions for now, but later you're going to change this in a different you know what, let's start creating the layer and then we're going to start the dimensions. So I'm going to go to layer properties, and the layer that I want to create is G-Anno layer, the G-Anno dims. So I'm going to click here to create a new layer, and I'm going to type G-Anno dims, S with an E, like this. And I think we have the legend here. It's red and it's 0.13. So I'm going to go back, make sure it's red, which is already red. The line, excuse me, the line weight is 0.13. Click OK. And then we're going to assign this from here as the current layer, and then we're going to close. Now, anything that we're going to start creating right now is going to be placed on the G-Anno dims, which is right. For the dimension, we start the building from the face of the wall to the face of the other wall. And when we do this regularly, we're not putting into our head if the wall is finished. So this is basically from stud to stud without adding the finishes. So this is easier for dimension, because the contractor knows that this is from stud to stud without adding the finishes, without adding, for example, the gypsum board. However, there is another way that we dimension, and sometimes you're going to find this in architectural company, if you're going to be employed at one, is that they start from the center of the wall. All right, but in our case here, it's easier to start from stud to stud, because it's easier for the contractor to figure out this dimensions and then adding without thinking about the finishes. So let's start. The very first thing that we need to do is that we're going to click here, we're going to select linear, and it's going to ask you to specify first extension line or origin. Basically, what I want to make sure that is turned on in the object snap, if I right click, endpoint and midpoint. I'm just going to turn off quadrant and intersection and perpendicular for now. I just want those two. And the very first thing that I will create, all right, is the overall dimension. Now, the overall dimension is going to span from here, okay, to here. So I clicked here once, I clicked here secondly, and then I'm going to go up. Now, we usually leave much room above, because I know that there are going to be 2 threads more than this one, okay, that will need to be spaced evenly. So I'm going to click now. All right, so you click once here at the end point, the corner point, and we clicked here because that's the overall of the building. That's how we start. The second thing that we want is that we want to identify this part individually and then this part individually. So that's the second tear, or the second thread out after the overall thread that we have here. Now I can do something after that. I'm going to click on dimension, and immediately after that, again, I clicked on dimensions here, and then I'm going to click here. All right, and then I'm going to click all the way up here, click again, and then go up. Now I try to find the midpoint here, all right, because that's, I mean, it makes sense that I actually specify the midpoint so I can have enough spacing between them. Or you can go up if you want to. If you want to go upward, you really need to turn off the object snap, because it's going to hold you back. So if you want to go upward a little bit, that's fine. And then you're going to click and you're going to place that. So the overall, and then we're going to go to the other side. Now, once do I need to click here all the time? No, you can actually, what you can do is that you can type C and enter. And when you type C and enter, this means continue. So the command is still continuing and active with you. And I'm going to click here on this dimension. And once I click here, you can see that I have a rubber band starting with me. And then I'm going to hover over here again. Now I'm hovering over, but I still don't have a snapping point. So I need to turn on snap while I'm still in the command. I'm going to click here, and I can actually end my line just here like this. Okay. And then we're going to click, right click, and enter. Now, sometimes, you know, because you have all of those, you still have the command working with you. I can click here again, and then I'm going to start adding more lines. I prefer that when I'm starting a new one or a new thread, I'm going to click on escape on the keyboard, and then I'm going to click on dimension again from the start, and then I'm going to start again from this point. Now we do have here multiple lines that are going, or multiple dimensions. So I'm going to click here on this, the beginning of the window. I'm going to click and go up, maybe stop here in the middle, and then I'm going to click on continue this time. I need continue because I'm going to continue the thread all over, and I don't want it to stop each time that I'm clicking and dragging. So I'm going to click continue from here. I'm going to click and stop here, and then we're going to click on stop here, click and stop here again. All right, till that door edge, and we still have the door opening itself. I'm going to go like that, and then we have another window here, another that's the window width, like that, and then we're going to stop here, right click and enter. So easily done if we selected the continue thread. Right now I still have those sides here. So all I have to do is that I'm going to click here, right, and then I'm going to hover over this point. Okay, you need to how to handle overlapping dimensions. I'm going to say none for now, because I'm going to show you a way that we can actually make those go down, So I'm just going to click here. All right, and none, and then I'm going to click here. None. Right click and enter. Now click escape on your keyboard a couple of times to end the command. So escape on your keyboard. Now if I want to bring those down, how should I do that? I can actually click, once I click on a dimension, it's highlighted in blue, and then I can click and drag down like this. Okay, and when you click and drag down, they're going to show you some option, but if you really just drag the dimension down, you don't need to select any of the options. I'm going to do that again. Click here, click here, and then click and drag down there, and then again click here and click and drag. So you have the option of doing this manually, as you can see. So you can take a look at the drawing that you have and start doing the dimensions. Basically, I think you have all four sides of the building, even including some interior ones, some interior dimensions that need to be finished. And we can even do one here. So let's do the dining area. For the dining area, just again gonna go with the linear. All right, and I'm gonna select maybe the midpoint because that's where uh, the indication for the object snap is going to be. I'm gonna click and then I'm gonna drag. Now I'm gonna click here and then I'm gonna go with that. Now sometimes you can see that when you do this, you either go up, to the side or you go down. So you really have to press to go down to be sure that you are placing the horizontal, not the vertical. All right. So it depends on where your direction is going to be. If I place down, and I want to go down, then I can do this by just making sure that the cursor is going downward to the side. Then this means that this is making a vertical dimension. So I'm probably going to stop here. All right. And then after that, I'm going to click enter on the keyboard. And I can still, maybe I can basically select the object. So I'm just going to click here again, and then go down. And as you can see, I'm snapping to this endpoint here. All right. And then I'm going to click on dimension. And from dimension here, I can click on continue. So click on continue. And we can continue this line between here and between this side. Right click and enter. Okay. And right click and escape a couple of times. Now, if I want at any given moment, if I want to make this less, so I can actually bring this to half of where it is, right? And this too, because those are overlapping lines, as you can see. Okay. You also have, I think, the center of the house, all of this vertical line that you can add or that you need to add. So make sure that you do that. And you do have a very good illustration of how the building dimensions should look like. Okay, so hopefully you have the string, you have the vertical string here, and you have, I think, the horizontal string. Just take a look at the final drawing of this exercise, and hopefully you would have something that looks almost like it.